I train a lot of thrust-focused knife systems, such as the Medusa system and Western Piper. These thrust-focused systems are criminal-based systems designed to take an opponent out quickly. It is usually hard for an average civilized person to understand why someone like me, an other civilized human being, would train in a system designed to put a blade into somebody multiple times and finish them quickly. However, the benefits of these systems are many, and the one I will mention right here is that if you understand these systems, you understand the worst case scenario that you may be up against if someone tries to use a knife on you. Also, if you believe that there is a possibility you might be at the worst place at the worst time and find yourself in a situation where you may be faced with lethal force, understanding how to use lethal force may be something that could save your life. However, it's highly unlikely that any average citizen will be in a situation where they have to defend their lives on this level. We are all our own first responders, and my philosophy is that it is our own responsibility to have the skills to be able to scale use of force if we ever need it. Because the police take time to arrive. From the time you call to the time they get there, you have to survive. And this is why I practice all sorts of different use of force models in my martial arts and self-defense training. Another advantage of the point-driven knife system is that if you pick something up that doesn't have an edge and improvise it, then you can use it effectively. Let's say you have a pen or a screwdriver, or even something like a pointed rock or a pointed stick. You can still use those things effectively to defend yourself with the point-driven systems. However, if you carry something like a cutting tool with a very sharp edge, knowing how to use it in a slashing way or a cutting way is very important. And when we look at sword systems and things like that, I remember the quote that the art of the sword is built on both the cut and thrust. I don't remember who said this, but I think it's important to look at this quote when it comes to training. People like John Stiers, who did the buoy knife training for the Marines in the 1950s and wrote the classic Cold Steel book, which was a collection of his articles from Leatherneck magazine. He had a great system that was based on a lot of snap cutting with the buoy knife. North America's great grandmaster of knife training, James Albert Keating of Combative fame, has a Western buoy system that is based on lots of snap cutting and thrusting. This system is a very effective large blade system, and in a knife-to-knife situation, which I've been told is highly unlikely, but if you carry an edged tool and are willing to use it as an improvised weapon and somebody pulls a knife on you and you manage to get that out, you would be in a knife-to-knife confrontation. And in a situation like that, footwork, distance management, and cutting the limbs coming in is a very important skill. The limb cutting can lend itself to you stopping the fight before it really gets going. Cutting the limb on the inside, or the tendons that keep the fist closed, could potentially take the knife out of your opponent's hand. Cutting is very important. And when I tested sharp knives like the ones I carried, I could cut through multiple layers of clothing, no problem, in a slash. The idea that you won't be able to cut through winter clothing just does not take into account how truly sharp knives will work. Slicing and cutting can also be a transitional attack from a thrust from one angle to another angle, or one target to another. It is my opinion that a well-trained knife handler will rely on both the cut and the thrust, snap cuts, slicing, compression cuts, all sorts of different tactics for a well-rounded skill level. I think that Filipino martial arts has a lot to offer to round out combative systems like Medusa and the Western Piper method. However, the straightforward, aggressive realism of a combatives knife system like the Medusa system has a lot to add to Filipino martial arts systems. I think anyone interested in the combative use of the blade should blend edged weapons martial arts with edged weapons combatives. If you like content like this and would like to delve deeper into these subjects, please support my Patreon.